In a small town, there was a high school known by the locals as the Haunted School. The school was built on the grounds of an old, abandoned hospital. Though the building looked grand from the outside, few dared to pass by it at night. One dark and windy night, a group of brave students from grade 11 decided to test their courage at the school. They were Rena, Booty, Ani, and Dedi. They gathered at the school gate with flashlights and some recording equipment to document their adventure. After passing through the creaky main gate, they began to explore the long, dark corridors. The lights in the main hall flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. When they reached the laboratory, they suddenly heard footsteps. Rena, holding the flashlight, turned around and shone the light towards the sound. However, all they saw was a door slowly opening on its own. Fear began to creep in, but curiosity still prevailed. They continued to the old classroom on the second floor. As they entered, they found a blackboard full of unfamiliar handwriting, as if someone had just written on it. Suddenly, they heard a small laugh from the end of the room. They all fell silent, trying to calm themselves, but the sound grew louder. Panicking, they ran towards the stairs to get out of the building. Along the way, they encountered a little girl wearing an old school uniform. Her face was pale and her eyes looked empty. She pointed towards the main hall without saying a word. Booty, trying to stay calm, approached the girl and asked, "Who are you?" The girl only gave a cold smile before disappearing. They grew more terrified and hurried down the stairs. However, when they reached the main hall, the gate that had been open was now tightly closed. Strange noises started coming from all directions, and dark shadows seemed to move closer. They tried to open the gate with all their might, but it felt as if an invisible force was holding it shut. That's when they heard a whisper in their ears, "Leave, or you'll become part of us." With all his strength, Dedi finally managed to open the door and they all ran out. Once outside, they looked back and saw the school was silent again. There were no signs of the terrifying events they had just experienced. Since that night, they never dared to return to the haunted school. Their story became a legend in the small town, serving as a warning to anyone brave enough to disturb the spirits inhabiting the school. After the terrifying night at the haunted school, Rena, Booty, Ani, and Dedi tried to forget the experience. However, the events continued to haunt their thoughts. Each night, they had nightmares about the little girl and the strange voices they heard at the school. One day, Rena found an old diary in the town library. The diary belonged to a student who had attended the school decades ago. In it, Rena read about a girl named Maria who died in a fire at the school. Maria was a cheerful child, but she was often bullied by her peers. After her death, many believed that Maria's spirit was not at peace and still roamed the school. Rena felt that Maria might be trying to communicate with them. She decided to gather her friends and find out more about Maria. Initially, they were hesitant, but their curiosity and desire to help Maria's spirit eventually overcame their fear. They returned to the school during the day, hoping to find clues about the fire. They inspected the room most damaged by the fire, the archive room. There, they found several letters written by Maria. In the letters, Maria described how sad and scared she was before the incident. One of the letters revealed that Maria had kept a necklace given by her mother in her desk drawer in classroom 2B. Rena and her friends immediately went to that classroom and started searching for the drawer. After a while, they found the necklace, gleaming under the dust covering the desk. As soon as Rena touched the necklace, the room suddenly felt colder, and they heard a soft whisper, "Thank you." They sensed a peaceful presence, as if Maria was thanking them for finding and honoring her last memento. They left the school feeling relieved, believing they had helped Maria find peace. From that moment on, they were no longer haunted by nightmares. The school also began to regain its tranquility. The townspeople heard about what Rena and her friends had done, and the story of Maria changed from a scary ghost tale to a legend about a little girl who finally found rest. The school was then renovated and reopened, becoming a place full of life and learning, no longer known as the haunted school, but as a symbol of courage and sincerity for those who dared to uncover the truth behind the chilling mystery. The school, once known as the haunted school, was now operating normally again. However, not everyone felt at ease. A new teacher named Mr. Armin, recently assigned to teach at the school, began noticing oddities from his first day. He heard whispers and footsteps when he was alone in his classroom. One night, Mr. Armin decided to stay late at the school to finish preparing his lessons. While he was busy, he heard a small laugh outside his room. Curious and slightly anxious, he went out to investigate. The school corridors, usually bright, now felt dark and cold. As he walked toward the source of the sound, he saw the shadow of a small child running at the end of the corridor. Mr. Armin followed the shadow to the archive room that had been damaged by the fire. The door to the archive room, usually locked, was now wide open. Inside, Mr. Armin found a pile of books and letters he had never seen before. On the table was an old, slightly burned photograph of a smiling little girl. When Mr. Armin touched the photograph, he felt a piercing cold and was suddenly transported to the past. He saw Maria, the little girl who died in the fire, running down the corridor, chased by a group of bullying children. They pushed Maria into the archive room and locked the door from the outside. Panicked, Maria tried to get out, but flames suddenly erupted from a pile of burning papers in the corner of the room. Maria was trapped, screaming for help, but no one came as the vision ended. Mr. Armin found himself back in the present. He felt a deep sadness and resolved to do something. He contacted Rena, Booty, Ani, and Dedi, shared his vision with them, and asked them to help Maria once more. They agreed to perform a forgiveness ritual in the archive room. Bringing candles and flowers, they gathered in the archive room at night. They recited prayers and apologized for what had happened to Maria. They also promised to protect the school and ensure no more bullying occurred. Suddenly, the room filled with a warm light, and they felt a peaceful presence. Maria appeared before them, smiling and nodding. "Thank you," she whispered before vanishing into the light. From that night on, the school truly changed. No more strange occurrences happened, and the atmosphere became more positive. Mr. Armin, along with Rena and her friends, formed an anti-bullying group and spread messages of kindness and respect. The story of Maria became a reminder that every action has consequences and the importance of always being kind to others. The school was no longer known as the haunted school, but as a place where the spirit of friendship and bravery lived on forever.